Hello, sweet friends. Welcome back to episode 19 of the Fucked If I Know podcast. And today we are talking about motivation, which is something that is a fucking delight when we have it and a pain in the ass when we don't. So I'm so excited to tell you the 3 things that may be getting in the way of your motivation. But before we do, I want to share a little something exciting with you. I have a new something launching very soon called the Cauldron Collective, and at the moment it's still in its little beta testing phase, so I'm not going to tell you too much about it other than it's going to be a fucking community of high vibe witchy bitches, and I'm just really excited to share it with you. So if you want to get on the wait list for the Cauldron, just head to my website ambidoacademy.com. I'll pop that in the show notes for you, or you can find the link in my Instagram. But I'm really fucking excited to release this amazing Cauldron Collective experience for you. And I know that it's just going to blow your fucking mind. So for my magical, manifesting, high vibe mindset babes, this is for you. It's not directly not exactly like just about witchcraft as such. I just really like witchy stuff. And so you don't have to be a witch or know anything about that to come and join in on this. There are elements of that magic threaded through the course. So it was not even a course. It's a thing. I'm not trying to give away too much yet because it is all brand new. But anyway, if you want to be on the wait list for that, then head over to my website and pop your name down to find out about it first. But let's get back to this week's episode, which is all about motivation. So I read this a really amazing thing once back in the day when I was like in my Fitspo phase, not a great phase, that basically was saying that motivation is like a bad boyfriend. It's never there when you want it to be. And I totally fucking agree with this. And I think motivation is something that we can't wait for to take action, essentially. In fact, my whole new motto for life is that action promotes motivation, not the other way around. So motivation does not promote action. I mean, it does, but it's really inconsistent. And it's kind of out of our control because motivation comes and goes whenever it fucking pleases. So really for me it's always been about taking action, and action doesn't mean really big fucking things like quitting jobs, moving overseas or whatever, although it can. But action can be making your bed that morning. It can be sending an email. It can be reaching out to somebody. It can be posting on Instagram. Whatever it is, action is, a really, really big part of it. So that's actually the first thing that may be why you're not feeling motivated right now, is that you're waiting for motivation to come. So you're literally sitting there going, I'm just going to wait till I'm motivated. I'm going to wait till I'm motivated to work out. I'm going to wait till I'm motivated to start my business. I'm going to wait till I'm motivated to move money out of this bank account, whatever you come up with. Sometimes these examples are very weird, but I obviously don't cut and crop these podcasts. I just let them come out however they come out. So here we are. But yes, so the first thing that could be getting in the way is that you're waiting for motivation to come. And yes, it will, and it will have spikes. Like when you get excited for a new fitness regime, or you get excited about a new Instagram, and you're feeling motivated until it gets hard. Because it always gets hard. It's fucking inevitable. If it was easy, everybody would do it. So it makes sense that we lose motivation because we're not feeling rewarded or stimulated or excited by the idea of something that we're doing, because all of a sudden there became like some hard work came up, or there was a speed bump, or you didn't get the engagement that you wanted on social media, or you don't have a 6-pack in 3 days, or whatever you fucking, expected of yourself. So what I want you to think about motivation is that when it comes along, it's like the cherry on the cake. It's the icing on the cake. It's the fucking cherry on top, whatever. It is the added bonus. And when it comes along, milk the shit out of it, because it's such a rare feeling to feel motivated to do something. If you are a lucky person who feels motivated all the fucking time, God bless you. Tell me the secret to your secrets. But I would argue that most people I know are not motivated 24/7. So what I want you to remember is that waiting for it is not a great way to kind of go about this. You need to take micro action for yourself to be motivated. So when you start to take little actions, what happens is the reward center in your brain is like, ooh, she took an action, we got a result. So she or he took an action, we got a result, and now we have took an action. Now we have a result. We feel rewarded. We want to do it again. We want to complete that cycle and go again. So it's actually when you take a micro action, you'll feel encouraged to go and do something else afterwards. So if you think about it, like I'll use cleaning, for example. The idea of cleaning, like, oh God, getting motivated to clean is like, bleh, can't be bothered. But sometimes, like, say you make your bed, you're like, oh, I've made the bed. I feel good about doing that. So maybe I'll just go like clean the toilet. And then you clean the toilet, like, oh, maybe I'll just go do this. Or it could be in your emails. Like, I've answered one email. Oh, you know what? I'm here. I may as well do one more. And you guys have probably experienced this before. It's like one action will then promote more action and kind of creates motivation. So if that is something that kind of resonates with you, if you're like, oh gosh, yes, I'm always looking for motivation, it's not happening, that's your first step. Action promotes motivation. I have to keep catching myself because I keep almost saying manifestation because I'm talking about manifesting a lot at the moment, but motivation, that's what we're talking about. The second reason why you may not be feeling motivated is because you're burnt the fuck out. Burnout looks like you have some kind of energy, but not a lot to do something, but you don't know what to do. You're like, oh God, I want to do something, but I don't know what, but nothing I kind of start feels good. So you sit there going, oh, I want to do something. So you start to read a book. You're like, oh, don't want to do that. Start to write a blog post. Don't want to do that. Go for a walk. Meh, not feeling this, right? So burnout feels like exhaustion. It feels like like anxiety. You can get really restless while you're trying to sleep. To the point of insomnia. You can feel irritable and angry with people around you, and just feel like nothing's kind of working out. So this is a massive sign that you are burnt out. Your body can also tell you as well if you're getting headaches, if you're starting to break out in like skin problems, like getting acne or psoriasis or anything like that. If your gut is flaring up, anything like that, your body can literally start to send you signs that you are burnt out as well. So keep an eye out for them. Usually a bit of a bad sign when your body's doing that because it means you've been ignoring your internal compass for a really fucking long time. So your body's literally screaming, hello, we're fucking burnt out, sort this shit out. So, or you can even, the universe can get involved as well, and you fucking break your foot, or, something falls through and you can't do it anymore, and it will literally bitch slap you and tell you to slow the fuck down. So when you're feeling burnt out, the best thing to do is just tune in and go, what do I actually want to do right now? And if you are not super in tune with your intuition, go listen to my intuition podcast. But something that usually, I would say most of the time, what works for me anyway, my intuition's like, can we just lay on the couch and binge watch Disney or The Simpsons or The Office or just whatever you fucking feel like that day? And my productive fucking type A brain is like, no, let's do something productively restful. Let's read a book. Let's do some crafts. Let's do something. But if you're anything like me and you turn everything into a fucking project, you're going to sit down to do that and feel exhausted by it. So that's another huge sign that you're burnt out. The things that usually bring you joy now don't. So crafting and like cross stitch and all that kind of stuff reading brings me a lot of joy. But if I feel burnt out, then those things will not bring me joy. They'll feel like work. So that's a really good sign that you're burnt out. So you're going to sit down and you're going to try to be productively restful. But when you are feeling burnt out, you really just need to fucking do absolutely nothing. And I know that's really, really hard. Why TV kind of helps. I'm not saying like binge TV 24/7, but if you are somebody who finds it really hard to disconnect, finds it really hard to relax, then this is what I would recommend. Video games are also so fucking helpful for feeling that kind of productive rest. So you don't feel as guilty resting, but you are actually resting because your kind of conscious brain for life stuff is switched off and you're focusing on something else outside of you. And it's just play, it's just play energy. So if you're feeling burnt out, that could be a huge blocker of motivation. It's very hard for you to come up with new creative ideas, to innovate, to think of new business stuff, to get on socials. All of that's really fucking hard when you're burnt out because creativity needs space and room for it to come to you. Similar to motivation, creative energy is a funny one. But if you are not resting and if you're not taking breaks, then your creative energy and your motivation is going to be nowhere to find because you are actively working against it. So you have to take space. You have to make room to allow this burnout to kind of like chill, and you can like relight your candle, right? We're like at the bottom of our candle's life and we need to relight a new candle, but to do that we need to get a new one. How are we vibing this metaphor? To get a new one, we have to sit on the couch and binge watch some TV, or just lay on your bed and listen to music, lay in a park and watch dogs, like whatever it is, but you need to literally just fucking full stop and allow yourself a little bit of recovery time. And you'll find that once you allow yourself that, you'll kind of hit a point where you're like, oh, I actually feel a bit better now, and now I'm prepared to go and do some crafts, fucking write a blog post, get on socials or whatever. I say that because this has literally happened to me this week, the week before this week, and I was feeling like I really wanted to come up with something new. I was right on the verge of something new and I was really excited, but I also just couldn't pull the motivation to start creating. I couldn't pull the motivation to promote, and I was feeling really, really stuck. And my intuition was screaming, can we just watch Shrek? And I finally gave in. I was like, fine, fuck it. Put my laptop in my bed, which I usually don't, and just watched Shrek and chilled out, closed the door, told my partner I needed some me time, just Gabby time, watching Shrek. And I felt so much fucking better the next day. Like I literally cannot even tell you how much better I felt the next day. So here's your sign to go and watch Shrek. Okay, so the first reason you may be lacking motivation is because you are waiting for it to come around rather than going out and finding it. The second reason can be because you are burnt the fuck out. And the third reason can be that you are not aligned to what you are doing anymore. So this is also a huge learning for me in the last fortnight of trying to force something that was not in alignment with me anymore. So what that means, what alignment means to me is it doesn't like vibe with me anymore. It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel like I'm doing it from a place of love. It feels like it's coming from a place of I have to rather than I want to. And it's a really, really fucking hard pill to swallow sometimes, because when you do something and you are good at something, people expect you to continue with it, right? Oh, you're a good photographer, so you should continue with it. Oh, you're good at teaching this, so you should continue with it. Oh, you're a good event manager, you're a good accountant, you're a good dancer, whatever, you should continue with it. But if you have lost the love for something, you will not get the same result from it, right? You're not going to get the same energy. You won't sell as many places in your course. You will not book as many gigs. You will not get as many clients, whatever it is that you do. If you are not energetically in tune with that anymore, people pick up on that. Even if people aren't into the woo, they're not into energy, people just subconsciously pick up on the fact that you're not 100% in anymore. They fucking pick up on that energy. And again, this is something massive that I've had to learn for myself in the last 2 weeks. I had a huge rebrand this year, and I was like, yeah, this is where I want to put all my focus into teaching photography. And then I actually realized like, yeah, I love it and I'm very good at it. And I love my students, but I'm like, actually, that's not where I'm feeling my vibes right now. That's not where I want to put my energy. Not to say I will never do it again, but I'm actually like, you know what? I want to be teaching more on the spectrum of manifesting. I love helping people. I love seeing their lives fucking change. And that's where I want to focus my energy. And since literally just making the decision without even doing anything, just going, fine, fuck it, saying to the universe, I'm open to creative solutions to my problems. I am open to understanding why I don't have motivation and acknowledging the fact that I wanted to do differently. I got messages out of the blue with people being like, hey Gab, would you ever be running like a witchy kind of course? And I was like, what the hell? This is so random. People messaging me saying, hey, I listened to your podcast. This has really helped me change my life. Hey, I've taken this thing from you, this resource from you, and implemented it, and I manifested money. I'm like, okay, without me even fucking doing anything, not promoting, not saying, not doing a fucking thing, just simply acknowledging it to myself, the universe is like, lol, here you go. Here's a sign or two. Here, we're just going to let you know that you're on the right track. And guess who's been motivated as fuck since stepping away from something that's no longer in alignment to me, changing the fucking narrative, deciding that I wanted to do differently, and things just feel so much more in flow. I feel motivated. I wake up with motivation to share online. I wake up with motivation to create content. I wake up with motivation to make this a fucking thing. So that can be a massive, massive thing for you to realize, is that your offering in your business or even your relationship or the job that you do or the house that you live in is no longer in alignment energetically with you. It's like you're flogging at a dead horse, or you're trying to push a fart out and it actually is a shit. It's actually, or you're trying to polish a turd, right? If it is no longer in alignment with you, it is not going to fucking work, and you're not going to feel motivated or inspired to put energy behind that. This is a huge thing for entrepreneurs as well. So for those of you who like to do a bunch of different things, not necessarily just stick to kind of like one element of their business, you need to understand when a ship is sinking and you no longer want to be on that ship, right? And you're like, all right, let's jump ship and get onto a new fucking even better ship. And it is okay to not see things through to the end. Now, this, if you're talking about like, if I'm talking about like businesses and running businesses and courses, it's an integrity for you to finish things and give people what they purchased and honor that and all that kind of stuff. But if something is no longer fucking serving you and it does not vibe with you anymore, you do not need to see it through to the end. If you're eating a meal and you don't fucking like it, you do not need to finish it. If you are reading a book and you're not really vibing it, you do not need to finish it. You do not need to see everything to the end. That's again a parent thing, like when you're younger, like you've got to finish everything on your plate or like all this kind of shit. You fucking don't. Why waste the time? You've wasted time on something that you don't like already. You may as well stop it and like, cut your losses and move on. So I know it's really hard, but when you are no longer in alignment energetically with the things that you are doing in your life, it's going to feel like a massive block. You're going to feel stagnant and you are not going to have any fucking motivation. Huge learning for me in the last fortnight. And by just acknowledging that, and actually, to be fair, all three of these steps, I'm saying like all three of these things about why you may not have motivation are very relevant to exactly what's just happened to me. So that's why I feel like I can share it with you. But since taking these three things into consideration and implementing things to kind of work around them, I felt so much more motivated, so much more inspired. So that first one was waiting for motivation. So instead of that, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to take action. And action for me was getting back into alignment, which was obviously the third step. So the first thing why you may not be motivated is because you're waiting for motivation to come along, which it won't. Well, it might, but very rarely. Action promotes motivation. The second thing is burnout. You may be experiencing burnout and that will fuck your motivation right up. So get on to your couch or onto your bed and put Shrek on and tell me how you feel after that. And the third one is that you are not aligned with what you're doing anymore. And it is really hard to be motivated when you don't love what you're fucking doing in your life. So thank you so much for listening. Oh my God, no shit. I just had to pause the podcast because I inhaled a bug. That was disgusting. Anyway, we're here, we're alive, we're living. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I hope this message resonated with you well this week, and hopefully it gets you feeling re-energized and invigorated and ready to change shit up. Go take some action. Go find that motivation for yourself. And as always, if you loved this podcast, shoot me a message, leave us a review on iTunes, or share your favorite takeaway on your stories. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and I will speak to you next time.